welcome to the Karnataka edition of the Times Now Election Yatra. Just 2 days to go for the elections in Karnataka in the first phase in several constituencies, including in Bengaluru. The Times Now Election Yatra is here. We're going to be talking about the big talking points as the Prime Minister speaks about the wealth distribution as well as attacking the Congress party for its appeasement politics. I'm Pratibha and welcome to the show.
And well, we're standing here at the pristine Sankey Lake, a very popular location here in Namma Bengaluru. As Pratibha was mentioning, it's less than 48 hours to go now before the people of southern Karnataka decide to vote. There are several talking points, of course, that both the political parties, the Congress and the BJP, have been mentioning in the last 1 week. Now, how is this going to really impact the minds of the voters? That is the biggest question. We have a panel of guests as well today, but before that, Pratibha, you're talking about the lead story today.
Absolutely. The Prime Minister, remember, over the last few days has been attacking the Congress party's manifesto. He has compared it to the Muslim League manifesto. He said that the Congress party wants to have an X-ray of your wealth and redistribute it. He spoke about the gold and Mangal Sutra of women also being looted by the Congress party. The BJP's campaign got a boost today as the Congress party's overseas chief, Sam Pitroda, spoke about the inheritance tax in the United States. He said that when a person dies, 55% of his wealth, his assets go to the state, only 45% to his own family members. That has been picked up by the Prime Minister, who said that the Congress party will loot you not just when you're alive, but also after your death. Take a look at the Prime Minister's big attack.
शाही परिवार के शाहजादे के सलाहकार, इस शाही परिवार के शाहजादे के पिताजी के भी सलाहकार, उन्होंने कुछ समय पहले कहा था, और ये परिवार उन्हीं की बात मानता है। उन्होंने कहा था कि हमारा देश का जो मिडिल क्लास है, मध्यम वर्गीय लोग हैं, जो मेहनत करके कमाते हैं, उन्होंने कहा उन पर ज्यादा टैक्स लगना चाहिए। ये इन्होंने पब्लिकली कहा है। अब ये लोग उससे भी एक कदम आगे चले गए हैं। अब कांग्रेस का कहना है कि वो इनहेरिटेंस टैक्स लगाएगी, माता पिता से मिलने वाली विरासत पर भी टैक्स लगाएगी। आप जो अपनी मेहनत से संपत्ति जुटाते हैं, वो आपके बच्चों को नहीं मिलेगी, बल्कि कांग्रेस सरकार का पंजा उसे भी आपसे छीन लेगा। यानी कांग्रेस का मंत्र है कांग्रेस की लूट। कांग्रेस का मंत्र है कांग्रेस की लूट, जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद भी।
Now, with such a strong attack that came in from the Prime Minister, the Congress had to defend itself. But the statement has been made. But the Congress now says, well, it was made in his personal capacity. Sam Pitroda, on the other hand, comes out and tries to clarify as well. Priyanka Gandhi as well has spoken out on the issue. She laughs it out. Says, well, the BJP is trying to divert from the real issues. Let's listen to these Congress voices.
कांग्रेस महासचिव प्रियंका गांधी वाड्रा हमारे साथ है बात करने के लिए। प्रियंका जी, धुआंधार प्रचार चल रहा है, कल कर्नाटक में, आज वायनाड में, और लगातार जो प्रचार का दौर है वो चलता जा रहा है। क्या कुछ लग रहा है, क्या मूड है जनता का, क्योंकि पहले फेज का चुनाव हो चुका है?
मुझे लगता है कि जनता का मूड बदलाव के लिए है, और इसलिए है क्योंकि जनता उब चुकी है। वो चाहती है कि जो उनकी एक्चुअल समस्याएं हैं उन पे बात हो और उन पे पूरा डिस्कशन हो और चुनाव उसी पे लड़ा जाए।
लेकिन प्रचार किस तरफ जा रहा है, चुनाव किस तरफ जा रहा है? जिस तरह के प्रचार हो रहे हैं, प्रधानमंत्री का निशान,
ये हर चुनाव में होता है। हर चुनाव में भाजपा के जितने भी नेता हैं वो कोशिश करते हैं कि जनता का ध्यान भटकाएं, और जो जनता के एक्चुअल इश्यूज हैं उन पे बात नहीं करते। अगर 10 सालों के लिए इनका राज रहा है तो जनता को बताए ना। मेरी तो चुनौती है मोदी जी को कि लड़े इस चुनाव को, बेरोजगारी पे, महंगाई पे, जनता की जो समस्याएं हैं इस पे।
मोदी जी मैनिफेस्टो पे बार बार, कांग्रेस के मैनिफेस्टो पे क्यों आ रहे हैं? कह रहे संपत्ति।
मेरी सलाह ये है कि पहले पढ़ ले मैनिफेस्टो, कि जो मैनिफेस्टो में नहीं है उसके बारे में वो इधर उधर सारी बातें कर रहे हैं, कम से कम पढ़ तो ले। है ना।
अच्छा प्रियंका गांधी, एक अंतिम सवाल है, जीत की गारंटी है प्रियंका गांधी, जिस भी राज्य में प्रचार करती है वहां जीत कर आती है। रायबरेली से क्या प्रियंका गांधी इस बार चुनाव लड़ेंगी? क्योंकि ये सवाल बहुत ज्यादा आ रहा है। प्रियंका गांधी हमारे साथ बात करते हुए, और उनका कहना है कि प्रधानमंत्री मैनिफेस्टो पर जो सवाल कर रहे हैं, पहले कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो पढ़ ले, और कहीं ना कहीं ध्यान भटकाने की कोशिश की जा रही है, और प्रचार हर बार इसी तरह का होता है, ये भी कह रही है, और चुनौती दे रही है प्रधानमंत्री को।
So, is this a self-goal by the Congress party during the elections? In the heat of the elections, has the Congress party scored a self-goal or not? Has it come as an ammunition to the BJP? That's the debate. We have guests joining us this evening. Vijay Prasad, spokesperson of the BJP. Mohan Krishna, former advisor to the ex-chief minister Basavaraj Bommai. We have MG Sudhindra, spokesperson of the KPCC, joining us, as well as Abdul Razak Khan, political analyst, joining us on the broadcast. I want to begin with Mr. Abdul Razak Khan. Is this a self-goal by the Congress party in the heat of the elections, when the Prime Minister is already talking about the Congress party's manifesto, which speaks about redistribution of wealth? Now you're saying you'll bring back the inheritance tax that was already abolished by the Rajiv Gandhi government.
Pratibha, there is actually no relevance to whatever Sam Petroda has spoken and to the elections here. It's just an example that he has given about the inheritance tax. Now let me tell you, the Congress manifesto does not mention anything about inheritance, not about, taking away gold from women. Modi ji's campaign is based extremely on a bunch full of lies. There is absolutely nothing that the Prime Minister could boast for the past 10 years. Whatever the BJP has achieved, that should have been said to the people. In the next 5 years, what is our plan? That should have been said. Instead, that ultimately the election has come down from Mandir, Masjid, India, Pakistan. Even Rajnath Singh ji tried. He said, "Hum ghar mein ghus ke marenge," and all that. He expected some Congress people to go ahead and rebut, at least give some response to whatever Rajnath Singh said, so that they could make this again an India-Pakistan like 2019. So this time, nothing has worked out. Neither Mandir Masjid,
No,
neither
but this has
India,
come from
Pakistan.
the Congress overseas chief.
Yes, exactly. But did he mention that we are going to implement this in India?
He said
It
we
was
must
just
have
an
a thought
example
about it,
given
and this
in a
is not the first
conversation.
time. Previously, Chidambaram has also spoken about it in 2012.
Madam, in a conversation, he has just said an example. He has never said that we are going to implement this in India, and he is not from the campaign committee. He is not from the manifesto committee.
But when you have a senior leader of the party make these sort of statements, and then you have the entire Congress, going ahead and defending it, Mr. Petroda himself comes out and tries to clarify what he's saying. It's put the Congress in a spot of bother, and it's a couple of days before the
No,
second
that is
phase.
only because we are taking what Modi ji is saying for granted. I am saying that there is absolutely nothing in Congress manifesto that says that we are going to take away your gold. Is there anything mentioned like that?
Okay, let's
This
bring
is
in the
a bunch
Congress
full
as
of
well.
lies.
Let's bring in the Congress
Actually,
as well.
Modi
Mr.
ji took
Sudhindra.
away the Mangal Sutra of women of this country by doing demonetization. Ask the people, go and ask the people for that waste
Okay.
exercise. Women lost everything that
Let's
they
also
had.
bring in the Congress. Let's see their point of view in this.
I'm actually appalled at the kind of understanding that the Prime Minister and the BJP has on over this issue. See, we have a overseas Congress chief sitting and giving an interview where he has said, if you go through the interview completely, where he has said, such a practice exists in America. And he has just, contemplated over that particular practice. I mean, either they are trying to make an issue out of nothing, or they should be they are making such a fool of themselves that they don't understand, or they don't get any part of it. Actually, I'm surprised, shocked beyond disbelief. This issue they are raising to such a context.
But are you
as it is
shocked
to be
that the
issued
BJP,
today.
are you shocked within the Congress party that such issues are being
I'm
raised
saying
time and
about
again
the BJP
during the
and Prime
elections?
Minister, his understanding, or whoever is advising him, their levels are so low that they can't even understand
Mr.
between
Sudhindra,
a
the only
suggestion
question
made.
is you have about 2 to 3 days before the elections. Mr. Petroda making a statement which he himself is having to clarify. Isn't it putting the Congress in a spot of bother?
Just yesterday, the Prime Minister went hammer on tanks on our manifesto. Today, he picks up something which is nowhere mentioned in the manifesto again to say something. Does this make any sense? Is it becoming of a Prime Minister to speak to this level? I mean, it is left to the ultimately people to analyze and make a judgment. But then yesterday, the same person, goes hammer and tongs over our manifesto, and today he comes up with something which is nowhere mentioned.
Okay,
Why?
okay, you're saying Mr.
Are you
Petroda was
making
speaking
people
about
fools, or you're
he was
making a
speaking
fool out
about
of yourself?
he was speaking about the situation in the US. Now, even if I agree with you on that statement, some of the questions that I'd like to ask is, there is a financial survey that the manifesto mentions, yes or no? it does talk about a
what
financial
has
survey.
financial survey got to do with wealth distribution?
Okay, no, all that I'm saying is when
our
you talk in that
manifesto-
context,
our
and
manifesto,
drop
along with
hints.
financial survey, our manifesto also has a Mahalakshmi scheme where we say all poor of this country will get 1 lakh, or women of this country will get 1 lakh rupees. Why are you not picking up that point?
In
Well,
fact,
it is
not
not
just
us.
Sam
Why are you
Petroda.
not
Mr.
picking
Sudhindra,
that point?
the BJP is
In
picking up aspects which they
in
feel is an advantage to them
Siddaramaiah
politically.
government has given 5 bhagyas to the people where the wealth is
Mr.
distributed.
Sudhindra, even if Sam Petroda distances himself, there are Congress leaders who are backing this statement. Rahul Gandhi himself has spoken about wealth distribution. Mr.
See,
Vijay Prasad,
in the current
is this,
context,
you know,
nobody has
something that
spoken
the Congress
about
party has
it.
given
It is just
in a
an
platter
issue
to
which
the
is blown
BJP?
out of proportion.
Okay.
Pratibha, Congress wants people to believe that it is the personal statement of Sam Petroda. Does Congress think that people are fool to believe them? Sam Petroda goes on to say 45% goes to the owner of the property and the 55% goes to this state. I am going one step ahead and telling that 55% goes to the Congress's kitty. Do you want us to believe what Congress is saying, that this is the personal comment of Sam Petroda? Believe me, Pratibha and Deepak, trust me, if Congress comes back to power, I and you will not be holding mic. We will be holding begging bowl and begging in front of the Sankey tank. This is what, no, Abdul, please, hold on, Abdul. This is not the question for you. This is not the question for you, Abdul.
Mr. Razak, we'll come back to you. Let him complete. We'll come back to you. Let's have a peaceful debate. We'll come back to you. Let him complete. We'll come back to you. Respond to that. You respond to that.
Deepak, this is what happens. See, the redistribution of wealth, whatever the Prime Minister has said, I am fully agree with him, because what Congress is saying that whatever they planned in 2011, 12 and 13, they are rekindling it.
But Mr. Prasad, there's also a charge from the Congress that you're taking it out of context. Mr. Petroda never spoke about, wealth redirection in the country. He's speaking about inheritance tax. That is a part of the US system.
Without smoke, there is no fire.
Is there a problem?
This is the ploy. This is the template prepared by Congress so that in the last 10 years, Congress is not in power. We know Congress is fetish for money. They have not, in the last 10 years, they have not seen any scams in the country. They have seen. No.
Electoral bond.
One second, Mr. Abdul Razak. On one hand, you also have the argument. One moment.
Okay,
Let's not
Mr.
talk
Prasad,
over
let's
each other.
bring in Abdul.
All right. No, I want to ask you. No, but just a moment. I want to ask you, for the Congress party to claim credit for liberalization, then you bring in something that shows the communist ideology. Is that what the Congress party really stands for? When you say, let's have a discussion, he may not have said it's in the manifesto, but he said, let's have a discussion on that, which means that the Congress party is inclined towards it.
There is a thought process.
Constitution also speaks
Deepak,
about economic
the problem
equality.
is, in the last 10 years,
Someone should speak
Modi
about
has
economic
created so
equality.
much of
So
wealth.
is this the kind of equality that you're looking at?
They are eyeing their wealth. And Congress's fetish
So you want to
money
take-
is
3% of
very
the
well
population
known.
shares
And they want
3%
to
of the
loot
country's
the
wealth.
poor's money. And
Okay.
somebody has to
Mr.
speak
Prasad,
about
I interrupted
Congress's
Razak while he was interrupting
plan
you.
of the Congress.
I'll ask you to request you to let him complete.
I'm just saying that 1% of the country's elite and the rich hold 40% of the country's wealth. 50% of the population shares 3% of the country's
But
wealth.
this is
Even
similar
the
to the wealth
Constitution
tax. You're not talking about that 1%. You're saying that when... No, but what you're saying or what Sam Petroda spoke about was inheritance law, which does not apply to the 1%. It applies to all.
That is not a part of election.
Okay.
He
It
was
is
giving
not
an
even-
interview.
it was
He
not
gave
even
an
of
example
reference
of the
to
US
India.
inheritance
It was only
system.
suggested as a practice currently practiced in US. Why are you picking it up?
Nobody has said that they're going to implement this in the country. Let us talk about it.
It was given as an example.
Okay,
If
Mr.
they don't understand, I'm very sorry.
Mr. Razak, on one hand, Mr. Razak himself was saying there is, 1% hold the wealth, you want to give it to the others. Now there is an attempt
no, no, no.
somewhere
What he
to,
said-
you want to do the financial survey. You're saying that, you want to uplift the
Please
poor.
don't
That can be
again
done through
what he said.
policies of
What
the
he very
Congress
clearly
party.
said
But
was,
is the policy
wealth is
trying to
currently
bring in something like the
distributed.
inheritance tax?
What he very clearly said was current distribution of wealth, especially in the last 10 years, is not equal. What the facts and figures what
So
he
what
gave
is
was
the
very
solution
very
to it?
clear.
Okay, all right. In
Is
fact,
that
we have
the
the-
Petroda statement the
Let me
solution to
complete.
it?
Just a moment. We have the reaction coming in from Rahul Gandhi. he has responded to what the Prime Minister has said. Listen in to what he has said.
महीने के 8,500 रुपए, साल के 1 लाख रुपए, ठकाठक 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 ठकाठक। पिछले 10 साल नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने 22-25 लोगों के लिए सब कुछ किया है। उन्होंने अरबपति तैयार किए, हम करोड़ों लाखपति बनाने जा रहे हैं। आप 25 अरबपति बनाओ, हम करोड़ों लाखपति बनाएंगे।
Well, that was Mr. Rahul Gandhi speaking there. I'll now go to Mr. Mohan Krishna, who's of course closely worked with the former Chief Minister of Karnataka, understands how finances and everything needs to be managed, and distribution of wealth as well is something that he's looked from close quarters. How do you really look at this debate right now? And do you feel that at this point in time, what the Congress is saying, there is a situation in the country where the poor are becoming poorer, the rich are getting richer, and there needs to be equal distribution of wealth is their charge?
Well, Congress has got one bad habit of denying things when it is not in their favor. Sam Pitroda has said perfectly what the Congress meant if they come back to power. That is a different question. If they come back to power is a different question. But altogether, now they are distancing from Sam Pitroda's statement. Why is that so? Because they are worried. In the 55 years of the governance, what they have done, what the kind of wealth they have made for the country, what the wealth they have made for themselves. Today, Mr. Razak was saying scamsters. 55 years they have ruled for the country. You tell me, anybody here can tell me 55 years ruled people will have more scamsters, or 10 years ruled have more scamsters?
Okay, so is the Congress party bringing in a law?
Please, let me complete.
All those 55 years what you mentioned, they themselves are...
Please, Razak, when you are talking, I did not disturb you.
Okay, all right.
Keep quiet.
I'm happy for you.
No, please keep quiet. Keep quiet, let me talk. No, don't talk. Don't talk.
Okay, let's calmly debate this.
My point very well. Today we are the 5th largest economy. We are planning to become a 3rd largest economy. We are talking of 5 trillion economy, and we have got very friendly relationship with the bilateral relationships with the US and everywhere.
Okay.
In US, the inheritance tax is only in 4 states.
Okay, and if we are following the laws from the United States, are we going to blanket follow everything? Is that what the Congress party wants? Those are the questions that the BJP is asking. But it's not the only charge. In fact, the Prime Minister also made another big charge at the Congress party. The Prime Minister, one moment, the Prime Minister also spoke about the rights of SC/STs being taken away for the Congress party to give it to their vote bank, accusing the Congress party of indulging in minority appeasement. We'll be right back after a very quick break with that debate. Stay with us.
Welcome back, viewers. We're here at Sankey Lake. This is the election yatra on Times Now. Now, just a while ago, we were discussing about how Sam Pitroda's statement has put the Congress in a fix. They're on the back foot, they're defending themselves, but the Prime Minister has fired yet another salvo at them. This is about reservation. Now, several years ago, of course, here in Karnataka, the Congress had decided that they'll give reservation to the Muslims. This is a blanket reservation. They fall under the OBC category. Now, the Prime Minister is saying, well, this is not just a situation that's going to be, present in Karnataka. It's going to happen across the country. They're going to snatch away the reservation of the SC/STs, give it to their vote bank is the charge that has come in from the Prime Minister. Let's listen.
कर्नाटक की कांग्रेस सरकार उसने और एक पाप किया। मुस्लिम समुदाय में जितनी भी जातियां हैं, सबको उन्होंने ओबीसी कोटा में डाल दिया और ओबीसी बना दिया। यानी जो हमारे देश के ओबीसी समाज को लाभ मिलता था उसका बड़ा हिस्सा कट गया और वो भी वहां चला गया। यानी कांग्रेस ने सामाजिक न्याय का अपमान किया, सामाजिक न्याय की हत्या की। कांग्रेस ने भारत के सेक्युलरिज्म की हत्या की। कर्नाटका अपना यही मॉडल ये कांग्रेस पूरे देश में लागू करना चाहती है।
So the NCBC has also slammed the blanket categorization of Muslims as backward castes in Karnataka. I want to know the Congress point of view in this. The Congress party, the Prime Minister says that this is vote bank politics by the Congress party. They know they're losing. On one hand, Rahul Gandhi speaks about rights of the SC/STs and OBCs. On the other hand, these rights are being snatched away from them and being given to the vote bank that the Congress party wants.
Understanding or totally out of the context kind of a statement.
Always a misunderstanding out of the context.
One second.
If you
Let him complete.
I'll explain.
Let him
I
complete.
can't understand what Congress is up to.
We have little time, so let's
see,
have a say in between.
it would have been highly appreciative of the Prime Minister if he had come up with facts and if he have come to people with what he has to show.
Tell us the facts then, Mr. Sudhindra. Tell us the facts.
As far as this reservation is concerned, there was a special provision. Let me make it very clear that was supposed to be made for a 4%. It was never to be snatched from the current existing category, and that was that matter is also sub judice. That was also sub judice.
One question,
So,
Mr. Sudhindra.
just
Does a
minute.
blanket
Just a minute.
reservation for Muslims exist in Karnataka or not?
Blanket reservation as of now, no. And that blanket reservation, it was based on the need of the hour at that particular point of time, and it was not to be snatched with any other particular reservation category that was supposed
So you're
to
saying
happen.
the Muslims don't fall under
no,
two-way
no,
category here? But the question
It was. It would have been 1 minute. I would have been highly appreciative of the Prime Minister if he comes to the people and says, "In 2014, I promised you 2 crore jobs. This is what I have done."
The issue is in the Supreme Court, so let's hear it from him. The issue is in the Supreme Court.
That this matter again went to the
Exactly.
Supreme Court. So let's bring him.
So,
let's
the BJP did take it up with the Supreme Court. One moment. All right. Just a moment. We're running out of time. Just a moment. All right. Under the Bommai government, the BJP did go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that this is under frivolous grounds. So why is the BJP bringing it up again?
Exactly.
Let me answer this very calmly. I want my Congress and Razak to be calm for just 1 minute. The 4% reservation what the government had made earlier for Muslims was unconstitutional. That is what we have found out. We had a please.
Okay,
Keep quiet.
we have only
Keep
2
quiet.
minutes. Mr. Razak, we have
This is
only
not
2
your
minutes.
debate.
We have only 2 minutes. We have only 2 minutes. So, okay, very quickly. Mohan Krishna, very quickly.
This 4% is unconstitutional.
It's unconstitutional. Okay.
This 4% is unconstitutional. That is why we had a discussion with the Nariman also. After the discussion, we have found out this was not this government. Even in the legality, it was not there. After that, that 4% we took out from that, and we have given it 2% to the Lingayats and 2% to the Vakaligas.
Okay, that's one thing. But the matter is subdued. Very quickly, Razak, and I'll come to Mr. Prasad.
That is their vote bank. 2% to Lingayats, 2% to Vakaligas. That is not Hindu appeasement. Now, if Congress talks about Muslims based on the recommendations of lots of committees,
they talk about
including
and did that help
OBC? Country knows very well.
Did that help OBC?
Mr. Vijay, respond to that. When the matter is in the Supreme Court, why speak about it? Is it nervousness by the BJP that you're speaking about it? All right, let's have a response from Mr. Vijay Prasad. Yes.
Okay, 30 seconds. Mr. Prasad, 30 seconds.
30 seconds, Deepak. See, in the last 60 years, Congress has gone into appeasement mode. Vote bank politics. Can Congress come back and tell the people of this country, the nation wants to know, what have they done for the Muslims community? If it is not the vote bank, what is the vote bank what they are talking about? No.
Okay, last. Mr. Prasad, I have only 20 seconds.
Sir, what has Modi done for any community rather?
Bulldozers for only anti-social elements,
should be
not
what
for
has Modi done for any
regular
community
citizens.
rather?
Only only for anti-social element.
The rich and the poor is high.
Okay.
No, Bakwas 60 years of ruling is Bakwas.
Well, viewers, now, okay, requesting all of you all to calm down. The situation remains this, that right now the National Commission for Backward Classes has raised some concerns about what's happening in Karnataka. The Prime Minister has raised this concern that what's happening in Karnataka could reflect on the country. But of course, the people can decide based on the arguments, of course, that has been put forth here by all our panelists, what they have to do when they cast their vote. But nonetheless, viewers, on the other side, now, Bengaluru rural, of course, has been a very important constituency because it was a sole Congress constituency last time, or where they won. This time, the BJP wants to give them a tough fight. My colleague Pratibha, of course, caught up with Mr. DK Suresh. All this is coming up after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. Well, in 2019, when the Modi wave swept across Karnataka, the Congress party managed to win only one seat. That's the Bengaluru rural seat belonging to DK Suresh, the brother of DK Shivkumar, who won from the constituency. This time around, it's turned into a bigger battle as DK brothers on one side and the Deve Gowda family on one side. Is it a fight for Vokkaliga supremacy? The BJP has put up a big contest, giving nightmares to the Congress party or not. What's the situation on ground? Remember, DK Suresh had been mentioned by Prime Minister Modi himself. As he said, the separate South statement that had been made by DK Suresh shows the divisive mindset of the Congress party. What's the position of the Congress party on that? What's the ground situation? We spoke to DK Suresh himself. Listen in. In 2019, during the Modi wave, there was one seat that could withstand it all in Karnataka, and that is the Bengaluru rural seat. Now, the Congress party is in power. Is it shaky grounds for the Congress party, or is it going to be a smooth sailing yet again? We have DK Suresh, the brother of DK Shivkumar, and of course, the MP from the constituency himself joining us. Thank you for joining us. So how is the campaign going on, and what is the mood that you have sensed on ground?
Campaign is going on very well. The mood of the people, whatever they have faced 3 elections, it's a different mood. People they wanted a change in the national level. I am getting a very good response in rural area as well as urban and semi-urban areas. Earlier, the urban area people are affiliated to BJP. This time they are thinking in a different
Okay, in this constituency, is it more than just the candidates? Is it a battle for the Vokkaliga dominance? We have Deve Gowda family on one side and the DK brothers on the other side. Is that the sense on the ground?
I don't think Deve Gowda family has any ground in this thing. Because he has given up the symbol to BJP. He don't have a symbol. He is not ready to fight with this symbol. So that is the first defeat of Mr. Gowda family. Then now they are going with Modi, BJP, this thing, symbol. So this time I am not saying in a field or wherever I am going there. People are welcoming in a huge crowd and they are supporting me with a different issue. Modi ji came to Bangalore. He has not addressed the Bangalore issues. He's criticized Bangalore. He's only criticizing. He's not doing anything to Bangalore or Karnataka. This is the major issue in Bangalore.
Okay, so you mentioned the Prime Minister. In fact, he was also somebody who mentioned you in particular. He said that the Congress leaders are bringing in a divisive politics here. They want to separate South completely. What do you say to that?
See, I am not told like that. Whatever the taxes we are losing from South India, so Bangalore is a cosmopolitan city, as well as Karnataka. Karnataka, we are the second largest taxpayers in the country. Whatever 10 years is over for the Modi government. They are not supported to Bangalore for various issues. The challenging issue, lot of challenging issues was there. One is major, ITBT, Silicon Valley, they call it as Bangalore is a Silicon Valley. It's a part of my constituency also. They have not addressed the traffic issues. They have not given any solution or any support to the Bangalore traffic solution. He is collecting only money from Bangalore and Karnataka towards northern India. That is the major concern. He has not resolved the drinking water issue. From past 5 years, we are waiting for Meghalaya to Kaveri issue. That also is not considered. That also is not taking any serious matter. Now he is coming and abusing Karnataka government, tanker city, tanker government, that, this and all. What is Modi is doing from past 10 years? We are facing lot of issues, drinking water issues in Bangalore since 5-10 years. Now the water consumption is more because of the drought. We have all the bore wells, underground water has deepened. So that issues are there. He has not supported, he is only abusing, he is blaming Karnataka government. What is the government of India's role? He is only collecting money from Karnataka and Bangalore. He is not supporting anything. So this is the step-other treatment he is giving to South India. That's why I am raising that issue.
Okay, you said that the Congress party in its manifesto has also spoken about redistribution of wealth. So the BJP says that when you make this complaint about the South, that the taxes from the South are going to the North, that's the same that the Congress party is also saying, that the taxes from others will go to those. The Prime Minister has in fact said that those who have too many children, your taxes are going to them.
See, he wanted to divide Hindu-Muslim card. This card is, we have seen from past 10 years. Whatever the achievement of Modi government, he has to tell the people, I have achieved this. Whatever the youths are there, he has to tell the youth, I have done for you people to work. You have to bring our nation in front of the world. That he is not telling anything. He is telling only Hindu-Muslim color he wanted to give. How many days he will tell? How many months he will tell? How many years he has taken? He has 10 years to he has ruled without any interruption, without any issues. Now also he is telling the same thing, means what is the contribution he has given to the South India or youngsters or rural part. He has not resolved any issues. Now he is telling same old stories. So this seen from past 10 years. Now also he has not opened his mouth of electoral bond issue. He is not mentioning anything. He is not speaking, ready to speak on that electoral bonds. Yes, his rule is like a dictatorship.
Okay, so you're saying the BJP's criticism that redistribution is the same as the taxes from the South and the North is a completely different issue then?
Yeah, that is a different issue. This is a different issue. He wanted to divert the issues. He wanted to divert the issue. Whatever the policies are there, it is different. The policies, I will agree. Policies made by the government of India and devolution of funds and other things. What support he has to give? Those who are giving good revenue, he has to give back to the states, not to develop the state. He is not giving it. Now he is telling some other issues.
Okay, all right. I want to ask you, because you mentioned communal issues, the BJP has also picked up the Neha Hiremat issue as a poll issue, saying that law and order under the Congress party is extremely problematic, that women are not safe in Karnataka when Congress is in power.
Oh, women are safe, everybody is safe. BJP wanted to create a nuisance in Karnataka and all over the country. Wherever the BJP ruled states are there also a lot of law and order issue is there. Simply they wanted to blame Karnataka. Yes, we pity we all support Neha issue. Whatever happened, it's not good for the state or country. We have to do something for whatever the law we should bring back, to take some stringent action to those people.
Okay, all right. I want to ask you about the Bengaluru blast as well, because the Prime Minister has also spoken about it, saying people are not safe in Bengaluru. In the Rameshwaram Cafe blast, does that put the Congress party in a back foot, especially since the Prime Minister himself is talking about it in the polls?
See, Prime Minister wanted the Bangalore should be a black mark, because he wanted to take all investors to Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh. He wanted to create a nuisance. Wherever he is going, He is not supporting Bangalore. He is not supporting Karnataka. He is not supporting South India. He is telling all other stories, Neha issue, Rameshwar blast issue. Everywhere it is going on. Only to criticize Bangalore, Bangalore fame is there. That fame he wanted to defame the Bangalore name. So he wanted to raise this issue all over the country. I request the Honorable Prime Minister, what contribution you have given to the Bangalore people? What is the revenue you have collected? Last time you came to Bangalore, you have given a press conference. Some of the media friends, you told 3 lakh crores we have given from 10 years. How much money you have taken from Karnataka? That you have not mentioned. You have to mention, no? You have to mention that 24 lakh crores from past 10 years we have taken. Out of that, we have given 3 lakh crores. We have given 2 lakh 90,000 crores we have given. We agree. This is not your money. This is our money. You have to support us. You are taking 90% of the money from Karnataka. Now you are telling and saying that you are giving money, you are misusing the money. We are not misusing the money. We are bring back the government. New government is there. We will bring back our good governance. We will give it a good economic policy. We are given whatever promises we have given. 5 guarantees we have delivered, and moreover we will bring back our Bangalore as a Silicon City and safe city as well as green city.
Okay, the Prime Minister has said that the Congress government in Karnataka is anti-startup, it's anti-development. Is this election about local issues, or is it about Prime Minister's guarantees versus Siddaramaia's guarantees?
I don't know. You have to tell me what is Prime Minister's guarantee to the country. What is the Prime Minister's guarantee?
But the Prime Minister says that the Congress government's guarantees have drained the finances of the state.
This is a real social economic policy. This is the real social economic policy given by the state government, Mr. Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivakumar. This will come, we will come to know after 3 years what is the effect these guarantees will give. You tell me, what is Modi's guarantee? Why he have picked up a guarantee? In the Bangalore streets and Karnataka election, he abused guarantees. Now he is taking guarantee. Why he has taken guarantee? He has taken from Congress. This is the one type of misleading the people.
Okay, the BJP says that D.K. Shivakumar campaigning extensively, you're going to apartment complexes. This is a sign that you're getting nervous that you may be defeated from the constituency. This is the first time that D.K. Shivakumar is campaigning so much. Mr. Kharge has also campaigned here. Is it nervousness, as the BJP calls it?
You don't know my strength. All other people are asking Modi for vote for Modi. I am asking for myself. Whatever I have done my past 10 years, I am asking and telling them whatever work I have done from the past 10 years, whatever the achievement I have done in COVID time, whatever the issues I have raised, for that you have to support me, you have to vote me. This is my slogan. This is my commitment to the people of Bangalore, my Bangalore rural constituency. I am not asking anything about any state leadership or central leadership. He is my brother. It is his responsibility to go around the constituency. His responsibility to campaign throughout the state. He is doing that. I have requested, so many issues are there, urban area. So many issues are there. Once the Deputy Chief Minister is going to see the people, they will give some of the other small issues will be there. He has to know the people reaction. What has to be done in future? For that he has to go. He is going there. He is requesting all the urban educated class. He is requesting all other people. They are welcoming. They are even for. I am also going there. That's why I am told earlier itself. The urban voters are supporting this time for Congress.
Okay, all right. I want to ask you, because you mentioned the Deputy Chief Minister, many believe that his own chief ministerial ambitions, a lot of it also depends from here. This is a personal battle for him because this is going to help him in his chief ministerial ambitions.
This is not the personal battle. This is the battle between Congress and BJP. Whatever the issues is there, that will take care by our High Command. We will not come into any of the time. Now the Chief Minister is Mr. Siddaramaiah. We are all supporting him. He is also doing good work for the state. Time will come.
Okay, my last question to you is, how well is the Congress party expecting to perform in Karnataka this time around? Previously only one seat. And if the Congress does not perform well, who do you think is to blame, the state president or is it the Congress leadership?
No, it's not like that. It is the fight between democratic setup and dictatorial setup. People will think in a different way. Now the party is doing well. This is the election between national issues. The state issue is also, we are raising it. So definitely people will support us, people will be there. We are all with them. Siddaramaiah ji is also doing hard. Kharge ji is also doing very hard. So everybody will take responsibility of this.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So there you had it, DK Suresh, the incumbent MP from the constituency, confident of a victory from here.
Well, that was DK Suresh, of course, expressing confidence that it's going to be yet another win for him. But we spoke to the Karnataka BJP's Lok Sabha in charge, Mr. Radha Mohan Das Agarwal. Now, he says whatever happens this time, DK Suresh will lose. He says it's going to be a social worker versus a corrupt politician. It's going to be money versus service. Let's listen to his reaction. Joining me is Dr. Radha Mohan Das Agarwal, who's the in charge for Karnataka for the BJP here. Sir, it's just a couple of days before Southern Karnataka votes. At this point in time, how confident are you of BJP performing well in the southern part of the state?
You see, there are 14 seats. And we are going to win all 14 seats. We will win even Bangalore Rural with a handsome margin. Honorable DK Suresh ji is going to lose very badly. So, we are very happy with the result. And we assure you that not only Southern Karnataka, the next election on 7th of May, that 14 seat also we will win. So it is going to be 28-0 win-win situation for BJP.
Bangalore Rural was the only seat that the Congress had won last time. It seems like you're putting special focus there. Mr. Amit Shah was there earlier. Mr. Deve Gowda extensively campaigning. Now you're saying specifically that Mr. DK Suresh will lose. Is there, somewhere an intention to, take away this one strong seat of the Congress?
You see, it is public which takes away and which gives back. People of Bangalore Rural and not only Bangalore Rural, whole Bangalore and Karnataka, they are very happy. The candidature of Dr. C.N. Manjunath has brought a paradigm shift in Karnataka politics. Throughout his life, he has served people. And in spite of his retirement and such a long service, he has no money with him. So it is a contest between a very devoted, honest social worker and a declared corrupt politician. People of Bangalore Rural are very smart. They know that the money power of DK Suresh will fail badly.
So now let's also speak about the Bangalore South constituency. The battle is between the BJP's firebrand leader Tejasvi Surya versus the Congress party that has fielded Soumya Reddy from the constituency. We speak to her. We'll be right back on the other side of this very quick break. Stay with us.
Welcome back, viewers. Here on the election Yatra, we've been speaking to multiple prominent personalities and candidates throughout the Yatra. In the latest, we visit Bengaluru South. Now, this is a very prestigious win, but the Congress doesn't want to make things easy. This time, the daughter of a minister, Soumya Reddy, is contesting against him. We speak to her about her aspirations, what her goals are, and what she offers to the people of Bengaluru South. Listen.
One of the most looked after constituency in Karnataka is the Bangalore South. People are going to know what will the outcome of the Bangalore South constituency result. Joining with me Soumya Reddy, who is the Lok Sabha candidate for the Congress from this constituency. Soumya, first of all, congratulations, you've been the candidate. It's just 2 days now for the voting. How confident you are, and tell me, how was the campaign overall?
Thank you so much. And well, I just have to say that I feel extremely blessed. I feel very grateful and honored. We have traveled across the entire Bengaluru South constituency, and its people have actually been, contacting us and telling that, listen, we have seen your work as an MLA, and you were like absolutely, with people, accessible, committed to people's causes, and it's really important to have people with integrity and honesty in politics. And the most important thing is we need people who will fearlessly speak up in the parliament, keeping the interest of us Karnataks in mind, and which unfortunately the sitting MP and the BJP candidate didn't do any of this. So we really want you as an MP over here.
So you have a very formidable opponent named Tejasvi Surya. He's a rising star in the BJP. He's been given positions, like he's the president of the youth front of the BJP. How do you think him as a challenge as far as is concerned? He's also a sitting MP.
The truth is, all the citizens of our constituency have actually been saying that, be it whenever I've been, going to and meeting people, be it in apartments, be it even in an underprivileged place like a...
Well, that's all we could pack for you in this edition of the Election Yatra Karnataka Leg B. We'll beat you again tomorrow at 5 p.m. Deepak and I speaking to the candidates across the constituencies, speaking to the voters and getting you the pulse of across Karnataka. Join us tomorrow again in the evening at 5 p.m.